Dude, this is an awesome setup right here.
No, it is. It's really solid.
This is episode one with a guest. I've been doing some solo ones while I drive because it's just fun. But, you're one of the top fantasy guys on TikTok. What got you into making TikTok content? Did you start out doing fantasy? And, what made you get into the fantasy football, community on TikTok?
Yeah, so I started making videos November of 2020, but they were just really shitty at first. It was just I didn't even speak in my first probably 50 videos. I was just pointing to a text box, and honestly it was really bad quality. But I started making videos because in the 2020 fantasy football season, every Saturday morning I'd wake up, I would get my Chick-fil-A breakfast, and then I would go watch the fantasy footballers their hour-long podcast. And I would go watch that, and I don't mean this as disrespectful to them. They're awesome. They're the top guys in the industry. But I was damn, I feel I don't agree with a lot of this, or I do agree with a lot of it. And I was I feel I have such strong opinions on this. I honestly felt like I knew more than them, which I didn't. It was definitely an arrogance thing. But I thought I knew more than them, so I was F it, I'm gonna make my own content. So then when I started making content on TikTok, it was probably 6 months of posting consistently, and had 7,000 followers, I think. And then I had a couple videos talking about dark horse candidates for wide receiver 1 overall, RB1 overall, and then just gained almost 100K over the next 6 months, and it was insane. And then here we are a year and a half later.
Yeah, now you're the top fantasy football guy on TikTok, right?
Yeah, there's an account that has more than mine, which is Fantasy Football HQ or some shit like that. But they're 2 older guys, but they don't ever post. They haven't posted in they've posted maybe 2 times in the last year. So I don't. They completely just stopped for whatever reason. I don't know why, but I don't count them as the top in the industry because they don't ever post any content.
Well,
so it's
what about BDGE has more followers than you though?
Oh yeah, but we all love their Ike's Lunch shit, and they make good content, but they don't post anything fantasy football related on TikTok. So it's you know what I mean.
I'm just messing with you, bro.
No, for sure, you're good. Hey, Big Dog Bash, right?
They do have a lot of followers.
No, they do. Their content is really high quality content. It's funny stuff.
It's interesting that those guys, Fantasy Football HQ, stopped posting, because that tells me that they basically just didn't figure out how to monetize their following, which when I look at the whole landscape of sports betting, fantasy football, and then just sports content that's non-betting related or non-money related, that's the challenge. And a lot of the guys are young, so they're in high school or college, so it's just a hobby for them. But it's interesting when you see people struggling to monetize. You just signed with Juice, which is super exciting. I mean, everybody, the comment sections, dude, everyone's you learned how to edit movies. It's freaking sick, man. How did that go down with Frank? How'd you first interact with him, and then what made you decide to join Juice?
Yeah, so I've seen Frank's stuff for a really long time. We all have. He's the top dude in the industry. And one day he just followed me on TikTok because I think he was looking for fantasy advice, and I've been mutuals with him for probably about a year. And then he saw that I started posting for Underdog, and he was like, "Oh, you're posting for Underdog," and he hit me up asking me about what I was doing with Underdog, and I wanted to know, in his experience with Underdog and other fantasy platforms, how I could monetize better and how I could get more signups. And I asked him about that and his process of how he edits his videos and stuff like that. And in that process of asking him how I could be better, because he's so good at what he does, he basically was like, "Hey, I think you'd be good to come and work with my team and do stuff with us." So then we just kind of worked out stuff from there, and now I'm with Juice.
Dude, I'm freaking excited for you. I mean, your growth since joining, since getting access to his editors, I mean, how much growth have you had?
So I have posted 4 videos, three or 4 videos with Juice now on TikTok over the last week. I think I've gained almost 2,000 followers from it in 3 videos. Only one video has done really well. It has I think 350K views, and then another video about BDGE and their Big Dog Bash scam, and that video got I think 70K or something like that. So the videos are doing pretty well, but I think I'll have a couple other videos that I've coming out pretty soon that'll do really, really well. But the thing is, when you have content that's this high quality, even if the video doesn't pull an insane amount of views, people will still follow you because it's such high quality. So once I have a full page of those same high quality videos, people will know that's my standard, and you'll grow much more from that then.
So last year, what were you doing to you weren't making a living off your content last year, right? It just happened basically when you signed with Juice. Now you're a full-time content creator, so you can dedicate your life to making content instead of doing it outside of your working hours. how's that transition been? And then like, what are your goals going forward into like the next 5-10 years?
Yeah, before I was with Juice, I probably had a similar workload, honestly, to what I'm doing now. The only difference is now I'm not like editing any of my videos because we have an editing team, obviously, that's really talented. And yeah, a lot of partnerships are going through Juice and not just coming through me. So a lot of the like more like nitty gritty stuff is like taken off my hands, which is super nice and super convenient. So I'm super thankful for Juice. And now it's more of like I'm just thinking about ideas for videos and writing scripts and really just like diving deep into my craft and like just really grinding and really enjoying the process of that. As for like a year, like I really don't know where I'll be in 5 to 10 years in terms of like making content, like what that will look like. I think like everyone's dream in this space is to like work for ESPN or work for the NFL or something along those lines. And like, I don't know if that's my dream, honestly. Like, I don't know if I want to work for someone. I don't know if I want that. I'd rather have my own brand. I'd rather have my own company that I run that does media stuff. I think Juice is a really good starter. I think I really believe in what Frank is doing, so I'm really excited to be with them for these next couple years. And as for like 10 years down the line, I'd like to have a company of my own like Juice or move up in Juice, and because I really believe in what we're doing, but I really have no idea. I know for a fact I want to make content for the rest of my life, and that's all I know.
Well, yeah, when you look at Juice, it's kind of like he's the leader, right? He operates at such a high level as an entrepreneur, and he's talented on camera and understands like the algorithm and all that. So he like has a lot of skills across the board. But when you look at the landscape of like sports content, right? Like when I was a kid in the 90s and early 2000s, ESPN was the only option to consume sports content. Then you look at like what Barstool Sports has done with Dave Portnoy. But right now, I feel like companies like Juice are going to take over, and they're social media driven, and all of their influencers are remote, and it's just guys that grind out content with the best editors in the world. And it's interesting to see because like if you think about if you're a first 10, like at Juice, there's under 25 people right now probably, right? So like if you're first 10 employees at Barstool, you're not leaving Barstool. You're trying to build that thing up. So it's actually exciting what could happen with Juice. And yeah, you being part of the squad and the day one, the first, because no one knows what Juice is right now. And I only know of it because of you and because I've been following Frank. But like, give it 6 months, give it a year, it'll become a household name where every middle schooler, every high schooler, they'll look at Juice the way that like I looked at Barstool when I was in high school, right?
The thing is with Juice that makes it really unique that I really love about it is you look at ESPN, you look at like Barstool, and like a lot of those guys from Barstool, like not a lot of them had a following before Barstool. Like a lot of it's just like people with journalism majors or people who like they know friends of friends who are just like funny and like a good group of guys that are super entertaining, and that's great. I think Barstool's super entertaining. I love Barstool. I think it's a great like actual company. Like they do really good stuff, super entertaining. But the difference with Juice is you're bringing creators that have already had their own following. They've already done this. They've already sat in front of a camera for thousands of hours making videos and making content, and they have people who really fuck with them super heavy. So it's like when you bring in people who have their own community and you invite them into a new community, it's a whole different ball game because you're bringing in people like me or like Troy, who's doing a podcast with me, Troy.Robert on TikTok, if you guys know who that is. Like we have a whole following that we're bringing into Juice. It's like that the exponential growth that you can have with that is like so much bigger.
When you're talking about ESPN, I look at these people that work at ESPN, and it all depends on what gives you fulfillment in life. For me, I'm trying to have freedom of time, creative freedom, right? Like when I was doing reality TV, I had no freedom. It was the producers really guided, and then the producers edited what I did to, shape the story. Whereas with this, I record myself, I edit it, I have my own vision and my own creative. Whereas the people on ESPN, man, a lot of them are given scripts. They're told what to say and how to say it, and they're getting paid salaries, and they have no opportunity to make $100,000 a year. And that's why you see a lot of these ESPN guys start their own TikTok page, start their own podcast, because they realize, like, everyone on those networks, man, they want to have a successful YouTube channel, successful TikTok, and a lot of them, they know how to talk like a news reporter on camera, but they don't even know how to build their page. And I know a lot of people on TikTok that clear $1,000 a day, so they're making over $365,000 a year. And I guarantee you, a lot of those people at ESPN are not making that much. And if they are, they're working so hard every day. I mean, they have to study so much and know everything about everything. Whereas like guys like you, all you really have to know is NFL. you actually don't need to know anything about any other sport than NFL.
And honestly, I don't really.
Yeah.
Like, because it's not necessary.
Whereas like these guys on these debate shows and everything, and like Stephen A. and Skip, they make millions, but most of the people on like the 4:30 p.m. show, they have to know everything about every sport so that they can talk fluid on live TV. With us, we can do research, we can do 5 takes until we say it perfectly. It's so much more chill, and you can sleep in until 11 p.m. one day, and you have so much more freedom. It's so much more relaxed. And if you're on a network show, dude, like, it's almost like the military of sports content. Whereas what we're doing is like true freedom. Like, we do whatever the hell we want every day, and we love to make content, so it comes out.
I think what makes it so appealing with working for ESPN or a company like that is like the consistency in your pay, and like being on salary is like, obviously, like, people are just scared. Like, a lot of the reason the people that don't, like, they even have a decent following that don't want to continue that and they want to get a job working for ESPN, or like in the fantasy space, I see it a lot where people will build a following and then they'll go work for Sleeper, or they'll go work for Underdog and like have like a salary job with them. It's like the reason they do that is because they're scared that they're going to fall off, and they're scared that they're going to like get a bunch of signups and make a bunch of money from the space, and then just like it'll fall off a cliff and they'll never do it again. So like people like the consistency, which like me, I would much rather like double and triple down on myself and believe that I can go and make that back again, because I know that I'm capable of it because I've already done it, right? So honestly, if you don't have that like boss mentality, like that entrepreneur mentality of like, I'm gonna go out and get this fucking bag, and I'm gonna grind every single day, and I'm gonna make sure that I don't fall off. As long as you have that mentality, you'll be fine. But people don't have that mentality, so they're not built for it.
Yeah, and I mean, we basically get brainwashed from the time we're young to be commission based. And like for me, I think about like sports betting's not going anywhere. Fantasy football's not going anywhere.
It's just getting bigger. It's only going to get bigger because now it's legal everywhere, so it's only going to get bigger.
If you keep innovating as like a creator, like I'm doing the van life stuff, no one can do that. The edits you have, no one can do that except for people in juice, right? So like we are both doing things to give ourselves huge advantages over the other guys out there, and I'm sure they'll still have their following and continue, but like that's a big reason why I got the van and started doing stuff like this. But like the money is there, and July is one of the worst months for sports content, and it's really tough. And August, it picks back up with fantasy drafts really heat up in August, and then September's massive with the start of football. But like for me, dude, I'm over here thinking like, dang, dude, my money is down so low, and I'm on track to make like $19,000 this month, right? And I really like to stay over 30, and then in football season I'll have months where I get over 50, and my best was 80. But like it's crazy for me to think that I'm stressing over making $19,000 in a month. But it's because these last like 15 months have been so insane. Now I'm conditioned to like the bar is set where it's set now. But when you really take a step back, you're like, bro, making $19,000 to like travel.
There are teachers that make that much in a whole year in Arizona.
Yeah, yeah, it takes like, my wife was a teacher, so I know.
Yeah, you understand that.
Like we'll have some days where we're like, dude, this is like a full month of your teacher salary.
Yeah.
And all it was
one TikTok.
One TikTok blew up, like going into a UFC pay-per-view.
Yeah, dude.
So it's freaking sick, man.
For me, with like my content, if there's one thing you want to include in a clip, it'd be this. Like for me and my content, I want to pride myself on being literally the best in the business. Like I want to be the most accurate. I want to be the most consistent. I want people to know that when they go to my page, they're gonna find actual factual information that will win them their league. Now, when it comes to like monetizing, that's a priority, obviously, because like I can't live off of no money. But for me, money is not even at the forefront of what I'm even thinking about right now. I'm thinking about I have the best editors in the world working on my stuff. My content right now, in terms of like how the edits have been recently, I think is so high quality that like it's gonna be hard for people to touch me in the space, and like that's completely fine. Like I like that, and I want people to rise up to my standard of quality because I think it's really high quality. But I think right now with this content, like nobody can touch me, and I think, in all honesty, I think that the growth could be insane with it. But it's not even about the money, though. It's really not about the money. Like I could care less about the money that I make with it. It's about building an insane following that really fucks with me super heavy, and the content being such high quality that people know, hey, that's Max, and he works for Juice, and that's what everybody in Juice looks like. That's the goal.
Yeah, and then we'll pull up to parking lots. We'll make our own seltzer and our own pre-workout. Just sell it to them that way.
No, 100%.
Like the Nelk Boys. I'm just
the Nelk Boys, dude. No, got there with some happy dads and give out free beers for picks.
Dude, I'm pumped, man. This was a good show. As long as that camera's recording, we're good, because this one's recording.
Yeah, it's recording.
Dude, I hope the audio worked.
Yeah, me too. Imagine it didn't.
All right, that's the end of the show. Thanks for watching, guys. Where can they follow you at?
Yeah, you guys can follow me on TikTok at Fantasy Football AZ. You can follow me on Twitter at Fantasy Fball AZ.
Dude, did someone take your username?
No, it's too long. Like the fantasy football is too long, so I had to put fantasy Fball, which is annoying. Twitter, give me more characters. But
what about
yeah.
YouTube? Are you
we're
uploading to YouTube?
Yeah, I'm uploading shorts on YouTube every day, and we got longer content coming soon for the fantasy season about like wide receiver rankings and stuff like that. Like there will be content there, but we're not huge on YouTube yet. We have like less than 100 subscribers. I don't really ever plug it, but yeah.
Dude, I'm so happy. This is a good show.
It is a good show.
Thanks for recording in the
Thanks for having
in
me.
the van, man. Thanks
Dude,
for having me
it's
over
dope.
to your headquarters.
I know, dude. Where the business is done.